Hello, back in my old office again, doing business again. You know, you got to keep the money flowing. Doesn't matter what you do, you've got to make money. Because the way things are set up, without it, you can't live unless... I'm going to back way up on some stuff real quick. Let me finish folding my handkerchief here. Allergies are kind of hard and hot today. I've been a tracker, been not really a bounty hunter. In law enforcement, they utilized skills I had. I basically chased men. I've written 43 books. I've had 11 of them published. I really think sometimes I ought to go back to doing some writing. Today I've got to work on a client of mine on some of his problems. I'll do that after I get done doing all this. Anyway, I got off subject. I know how to survive in the wild. I can survive in a desert. I can survive in Arctic conditions. I can survive in a jungle and in the woods. I was trained to do this. And the point I'm making, and it never fails, that, folks, is someone trying to break into my computer. It happens every time I come in here and turn it on. The point I'm making is this. There are some folks I've spoken with that have just made the statement, well, I'll just go to the mountains and live. Things go bad. Let me tell you something. One person can barely eke out a living out of nature for themselves. It's rare that a person can do it for two people. I have that capability. But it's not all that simple. And the reason it's not all that simple, folks watch movies, they read books, and they think about all that, but they have no practical experience doing it. I have a brother-in-law named JD that, if I post this to my family vlog, and I will do that today, I'll just have to probably do it in the house, but the deal is, he will see this and he understands exactly what I'm talking about. He's a woodsman. He and my nephew, my sister's son, Evan, they're woodsmen. My sister knows her way in the woods. They know how to shoot, they know how to hunt, they know what to eat, what to drink. And I dare say there are quite a few folks like that in the South. But not everybody that sees my videos are from the South. I thought about a series, and the only thing that's really kept me from doing it is the fact that I am crippled. I'm on one walking cane today, and I'll get to that in a minute. Getting back to the books I've written, I've never written a survival book, but my very first book I wrote, the first two books I put together and called it Short Mountains and Tall Tales. It was published, but it was originally published with Dandelion Books, both books. Way Out There, Diggertown, Oklahoma, Way Out There, Arbuckle Treasure Hunt were the first two books. And I alluded in the first book to something a friend of mine, Claude Williams, and I did. The names were changed, but we chased a guy for 3 days. I mean, he had murdered some folks. He was about as close as you could get to a professional assassin without actually being one. The guy was really wood savvy, and when we finally caught up with him, it was a gunfight, and my best friend at that time, Claude Williams, shot the man, and he fell off a bluff and died. And then we had a satellite phone with us in case we caught the guy, but the problem was it got shot. This guy was accurate. But the point I'm making with this, in my first book and part of my second book, I outlined some things to do for survival. I thought about writing a survival book, but the big problem I'm having right now, I do not have time to do it. Now, one walking cane day. And after this, I will curtail any more talk on here. In my older age, I'm getting really absent-minded. And I mean really. Excuse me. It's something that happens to all of us. I had bought, and I think I bought 2 pairs. My old memory coming back a little bit, just a second. But I had bought cargo shorts. They have a lot of pockets, and I had forgotten that I bought them. As strange as this sounds, and they were in my clothes drawer in the dresser that's my dresser, and then my wife has hers. Mine has her stuff in the very bottom drawer, but the other drawers on up are mine. I have my junk in there and my clothes in there. I forgot I had them. I'd never even tried them on. I had to cut the tags off of them and they fit comfortably. They're absolutely comfortable. I have one of those expansion belts on, and it has a holster on the side so I can carry my favorite handgun. It's a pew-pew, and it's very accurate even though there's no sight on the front. This I've had since I was 11 years old. My daddy gave it to me, and it and another gun that is Nick's now are what I learned to shoot on. That and a .22 rifle up there on the wall. The gun I just showed you, the handgun, the pew-pew, is a really old one. It was made in 1871, and it will shoot modern ammo. It was made for black powder, but back then when they used a different process than they use now, and I actually had the density on that gun tested. It's got the second barrel on it. I shot out the first one. My dad paid to have the barrel that's in it now put in it, and then we cut the barrel off. I wanted a snub nose, and so it's not really a snub nose. It's got a 3-inch barrel, but it's a very accurate gun, and it shoots .38-40 ammunition, which I've got it in my pocket, X reloads. But the point I'm making, let me get a sip. If you are not familiar with pew-pews, you need to learn to be so. And the way this country's headed, we may end up in a situation where you can't go to the grocery store. So you might need to know how to forage, how to hunt, how to grow things, and all the above. I know how to do all that, and most of my family does. We were raised down here, my boys were raised down here. The bottom line in all this, though, is this: above all else, cleave to God, to the Lord. Do that first, and then worry about what you can do. Now, I've lost a lot of subscribers due to my religious views, and that's fine. I'll never make a nickel off any of this. I have a business, a side hustle, if you will. I am retired, but I have other things I do to bring extra money into the family, and I actually do quite well at it when I apply myself. The problem, because of the infirmities I have, is getting me to apply myself, and that can be a real problem sometimes. My wife, who is now in her 70s, is getting a taste of what I've been going through for two and a half decades. The pain I've been living with on a daily basis. She's experiencing the same thing. It's not fun. I know that my sister and my brother-in-law JD, the Reed family, the two husband and wife in that, they understand. They had a bad motorcycle wreck, and they understand the pain that comes from bad injuries. But anyway, I've got my cargo shorts on, and I got it's basically a slotted holster that I can put any kind of handgun I want to in. Got it on the left side. I'm left-handed, and I like the fact the shirt I've got on, I can lower it over that gun and you can't really see what I'm carrying. If you're observant, you'll know that I've got something there, but it's comfortable, and that's my favorite gun. I grew up shooting it, and I'm extremely accurate with it. And yeah, it's hard to reload. It's a 6-shooter, a Western 6-shooter. You got to take on this one, if you got a little rod or something like this, you can punch the shell casings out and reload it, but you got to reload one at a time. Or you can take the cylinder out, take the cylinder post and punch them out, put 2 at a time in it. I have other handguns, quite a few actually, but I prefer this one. It's lightweight, very accurate, and it's like an extension of me. It's my friend. Now, T.R. Winkerhoff that watches these videos, I went to your Facebook page and you haven't posted in a while, but I sent you a friend request. You can either honor it or not, but I'd love to be your friend on there. I love having friends on Facebook, and I never do divulge anything anyone tells me on there. And I've lost a few friends off there because of some of my, well, mostly my religious views, which I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm definitely a Jesus freak, you know, and I am not sorry, and I will never apologize for believing in my Savior. Won't happen. I'm a little militant in some ways, and I try not to be. I try to be forgiving, you know. It's like the Savior said, I will forgive who I will forgive, but for you is to forgive 70 times 70. You know. In other words, that mathematically what he meant was you never don't forgive. And you need to love everybody. I have friends of every religion. I do. Even Muslim friends. Disagree with their religion, but that does not mean I do not love them and cherish them as a friend. I've got one that works where my son Brandon works. They are precious to me. And if they're precious to me, imagine how God looks at them. They're His creation. You know, He'll be back pretty soon, and when He does, He'll get all this sorted out. Let me get another sip. my son Brandon and I, Bo, went down to Ardmore to get the title to his car. It's 2 months overdue. Kip said if they give him a hard time at the tag office, he will reissue a thing, and we'll just see what we can do to handle it. I had, last time I went in, I explained to Brian Davis about the car, and we thought we were going to have to do a Title 43 to get the title to it, but that's okay. I want to impart one little nugget of what I feel is good information before I get off here. And it's of a personal nature, but it meant and means so much to me. And I will relate the story real quick, and then I will end this video. I've spoken many times of Tigger, also known as Benjamin Jr., my son Benjamin's son. He's 6 years old, just as precious as he can be. I mean, I'm totally in love with the child. He and his big sister Zara Rose, Zara with a Z, like zebra. But my wife and I in the evenings, we try to sit in what I call the parlor. It's a TV room. Got movies all along the walls, excuse me. And anyway, we were sitting there, and Tigger comes in the parlor and he's crying. And Nana, my wife, Linda, asked, "What's wrong?" And he said, Uncle Nick was mean to me. Well, what happened is they're temporarily staying in the other end of our house, next to Nick. Well, it's basically the living room. And they have a mattress on the floor, and they're living there right now because of this big tree we got that might fall, might not. We still got some limbs to cut off of it, and we just haven't gotten to it. But anyway, Tigger's crying. Nana says she'll get up, she'll go see what it's all about. Well, what it was, his dad, Benjamin, told he and his sister to make the bed. And Tigger didn't want to help make the bed. He just didn't want to. Well, Uncle Nick, my largest and second oldest son, looked down at him and said, "You will make that bed or I will spank you." Well, he skedaddled right in there. And Linda got up, she went to see what was going on, and while she was gone, Tigger crawled up in my lap, and I was holding him. And I was helping the tears go away, and I said, "You know, you're my favorite person in the world. I love you more than anybody." And I hugged him, and he was hugging me back. And in a little bitty voice, he says, you need to love my sister more than anybody too." And that just made it sweeter. He was thinking of his big sister. My nugget I'm imparting is, if you have little children in your life, cleave to them, love on them, hold them, be as sweet as you can be to them, nourish them, encourage them to love God, and encourage them to walk uprightly before everyone, especially God. Teach them right from wrong, and help them to grow into mature, responsible adults. We owe that to the children. Now, I don't know when Yeshua ben Miriam, Jesus Christ, Joshua the son of Mary, I don't know when he's coming back. Nobody does. I have some guesses. Let me get another sip. But here's the thing. You need to go ahead and encourage children to be good people. We owe it to them, and you will be held accountable by God if you do not do that. Well, to Jersey Loves Steph, if you ever change your mind and you want to be my friend on Facebook, in private message, send me a friend request and I will honor it. And if there's a way to hide the fact you're my friend on there, help me figure that out, and I will. You got to understand, I'm technologically inept in a lot of ways. That's why that computer right there is so special. It was built for me by another friend of mine simply because I am as inept as I am. I have extremely good investigative skills. I make money from it. But that is just due to thought processes. That's not due to the technical stuff on that computer. Now, this will probably be loaded in my parlor on my laptop so I can put it on both channels. I tried doing that on here, and I did get one loaded yesterday, but it is an act of Congress putting stuff out from this computer because I have to shut down the protections in it and then put them back up, and that's just too much trouble. So you will get this excuse me, video much later in the day because I've got things I've got to do, and know that this crippled old man, this crippled, crazy old man, ugly old man, loves you. I do. With everything I've got to love you with, and what's more important, Christ loves you more than you could possibly know. I don't understand it, especially in my case. Love you all. God bless you, and have a good day. Bye.